What if the most insignificant person you ignored on the street held the key to your entire future? This homeless girl's secret sacrifice wasn't just a kind gesture. It set off a chain of events that would ultimately save a billionaire's life in the most unexpected way. Prepare to have your perspective on fate and kindness completely rewritten. You don't want to miss this powerful, emotional, and life-changing story filled with lessons that will stay with you. So sit back, relax, and grab your popcorn. Let's dive into this unforgettable journey. And if you are just tuning into this channel, please subscribe, turn on your notification bell, and don't forget to give the story a thumbs up if it touches your heart. It was about 11 a.m. The morning sun hadn't even risen. Yet Sarah was already on the construction site, carrying cement and sand. Her hands white with cement, her body soaked in sweat. She was the only woman among dozens of men. Her palms blistered, her jeans torn at the knees. But she didn't care. She couldn't afford to. She was working to keep her two young siblings in school. Sarah was just 24, but life had aged her spirit. A strange illness had struck her mother 2 years ago that took her life after 3 weeks, leaving her and her two young siblings alone. Since then, she had taken the roles of parenting to her siblings. She had dropped out of school so that they will continue theirs. She picked up a shovel and joined a construction crew in the building site, while other girls at her age chased iPhone and boyfriend. Sarah was in the site pushing truck of sand and mixing sand and cement. Wet in this fine girl day due for sight. One of the workers asked mockingly, "Nah man, she'll BO." Another laughed. Her power passed your own. But Sarah did not reply them. She paid no attention. Every sweat drop was for John and Esther. Every blister a sacrifice. And every money she earned went straight to buying foods and paying school fees for them. For she had promised her mother before she died that she will take good care of them. That afternoon, as the sun was rising, the red soil beneath her feet, a white SUV Prado Jeep pulled up beside the site. Out stepped a classic woman in suits, smiling, gold jewelry clinking with every step. Her perfume followed her like a trail of power. "Mrs. Brown," the workers murmured. Sarah looked up, still holding a truck of brick blocks. Mrs. Brown looked at her with surprise. "Is that a girl?" She walked around looking at the project, her high heels sinking slightly into the sand. When she was done and about to go, she walked straight to her. "You, what's your name?" Sarah dropped the shovel and wiped her face with the hem of her shirt. "Sarah." "Ma. You're a woman and you do this kind of work. How old are you?" "I am 24, Ma." Mrs. Brown glanced at her for a long time before saying, "You're a strong woman." Sarah smiled shyly. "Thank you, Ma. I would want to help you and change your life." Sarah blinked twice. "Ma, you said help me. Change my life. I live in the city. I run businesses. And I help girls like you who are eager to make money. If you go with me, I'll give you a better and easy job that you will earn 10 times better than this site work you are into." Sarah's hands trembled slightly. She had never imagined such things. "Ma, do you mean it?" Mrs. Brown nodded. "I see greatness in you." She reached out to her handbag, brought out some money and handed it to Sarah, who looked so shocked and happy as she collected the cash. When Sarah reached home that evening, Esther and John were sitting quietly in the house waiting for her to return. She was so excited to announce the good news to them. "Esther, John, Mrs. Brown said she'll take me to the city for a better job, where I will earn big money." She pulled out the money Mrs. Brown gave her and told them, She gave me this money. No more pushing of sand and carrying cement in the site. To the city, sister, who will take care of us? Esther asked, looking concerned. I will be sending you money every time and will be calling to check on you. It falls to you to take care of John. I promise you will not lack anything once I reach the city. Mrs. Brown has helped many girls from our village. I guess it's our luck. I have to try this for us. The next morning, they were sitting in the compound when Mrs. Brown's SUV arrived. Sarah hugged her two siblings tightly. I'll send money for your school fees and food, she whispered. Esther held her, weeping into her shoulder. Sister, don't let the city life change your heart. Sarah got in the car. As the SUV pulled away, she looked out the window and saw her siblings crying and waving. A tear dropped from her eyes. She didn't know it yet, but Mrs. Brown was secretly involved in trafficking young girls. The drive to the city was long, but Sarah barely noticed. Her eyes glanced through the windows as she viewed the city. She had never left the village before. Every town they passed, every billboard, every tall building, felt like a step into another planet. Mrs. Brown didn't talk much. She mostly smiled as she scrolled through her phone. When they finally crossed into the city of Abuja, it was like stepping into a new world. Towering buildings reaching the sky. She was amazed by all she had experienced. Her heart fluttered with hope. Maybe, just maybe, my life is about to change for good, she murmured. Mrs. Brown's car turned into a gated estate They pulled into a driveway and stopped in front of a large duplex, painted white with manicured garden and swimming pool. Sarah stepped out, clutching her bag. Welcome to your new home, Mrs. Brown said, smiling. As they walked inside, she said, Go freshen up. There's food in the kitchen. She showered in a bathroom. She ate fried rice with chicken. That night, before she slept, she knelt down and said her prayers. And for the first time in her life, she slept on a soft mattress. She woke early, cleaned the kitchen, the bathroom, and was sitting in the living room waiting for Mrs. Brown to come. But when she came out, she did not make mention of work. Instead, she said, Relax, enjoy yourself. I will be back. And she walked out of the house and drove off. But she did not return till night. One day passed, then two, then a week, 2 weeks. No work. No explanation of why she is still staying in the house from morning till night. One Tuesday morning, she found the courage to ask, Ma, please, when will I start the job you promised me? I have been idle for weeks now, and my siblings are expecting some money from me to buy food. Mrs. Brown smiled from her spot on the couch, sipping coffee. Tonight you will start. Sarah blinked in surprise. Tonight? Yes, your first work will be this night. Be ready. Thank you, Ma. She smiled and ran to her room, and sat quietly wondering what work she would do tonight. It was around 9 p.m. when Mrs. Brown knocked on her door and entered, with a well-dressed young man in his 40s. She asked her, Are you ready? She replied, Yes, Ma, smiling. You're going out with him. He paid for you. Sarah froze. Paid for me? Yes, he did. I don't understand, Ma. Don't act dumb. You're not here to cook and clean. This is Abuja, not village. Sarah's voice trembled. But you said you were giving me a job. This is the job. I promise you, you will make 10 times a day what you make in that site for a week. Just be nice and sweet." Sarah backed away. "I can't do that. I won't sell my body. I'm not a prostitute." At that point, the client became angry and asked Mrs. Brown to refund his money. She was disappointed as she transferred the money back to the young man, who went and left angrily. She turned to Sarah and asked her, "You said you can't do that." She said, "Yes, Ma, I'm not a prostitute." "Then get out. Take your bag and leave my house this minute." Sarah stood frozen. She said, "But Ma." "Get out," Mrs. Brown screamed. "What do you think? Everything you enjoyed here is free." Sarah picked up her bag and went out. She slammed the door behind her and ordered the gatekeeper to throw her out to the street. She stood in front of the gate, in the dark street of Abuja, not knowing which way to go. For the past 3 weeks she has been in the city. She has never come out of the gate. It was her first time, and it's not to pick something and go back, but to wander the street in the darkness. That night, she wandered around until she found a closed shop in the street, and she slept on the cold floor in front of the store. It was around 5 a.m. when people were opening and sweeping their shops. She woke up, wiped her clothes, picked her bag, and entered the street walking. She thinks of her 2 siblings, who believe she is already doing well in the city. She thinks of Mrs. Brown, who took her from the village with a promise of good life, only to bring her and sell her to a rich man for prostitution. She whispered to herself, "I will rather beg to get transport money and go back to the village and continue my site work than to sell my body." She started going from shop to shop, pleading for work. "Please, Ma, I can do any work, cleaning, washing." Some gave her money and told her there is no vacant job, while some chased her out of their shop. One woman selling rice on the roadside asked her to come back tomorrow, but when she came back, she told her that the job is no more available. That evening, she was sitting under the bridge, surrounded by many beggars, both women and men, some in wheelchair, some blind, with empty stomach. She whispered, "God, what have I done wrong? What is my offense? Who cursed me?" She lost her hope of being able to get the transport to go home, 'cause she barely gets up to 500 naira daily. On the next day, she decided to join the street hawkers who sell sachet water. When she reached the cold room where they froze water and minerals, she stood there watching as girls her age, some older, some younger, were coming, buying, and going. She stood and watched them for quite some time. Then she went in. The seller inquired from her, "Young girl, which one do you want? Minerals, sachet water, or bottled water?" She asked. "Sir, how much do you sell?" "I only have 1,000 naira. The man replied, "You can start with sachet water with that. Then you will upgrade when you start earning money." He pulled up a plastic rubber and loaded it with 2 bags of sachet water and gave it to her. He cautioned her, "Be careful on the road. The street is not friendly." Then she went out, hawking the water on the busy streets of Abuja, shouting, "Buy your cold, pure water. Buy your water." Her first time was tough. Everywhere was noisy, as cabs ran front and back, conductors shouting. Her first day, she was able to sell 5 bags of water, and she started to have some hope. The next day, she bought half-pack of bottled water and sachet. As she hawked that evening, when she sold all her water, she was walking to the place she was living. when suddenly she saw a woman carrying a 3-year-old baby, and the baby was crying loudly. People were passing, going front and back, but no one talked to the woman. She went straight to her. "Madame, why is your baby crying like that?" she asked. "She is hungry. We haven't eaten since 3 days now." Without knowing, she was Mrs. Jonathan, the wife of a billionaire businessman in the city, who escaped from the hands of kidnappers, who had been holding them for 2 weeks. Sarah took the takeaway food she had bought to eat that night and handed it over to her. "Madame, take. Give it to her. She needs it more than I do." The woman replied, "Thank you, my daughter. You will not go hungry. God will bless you." Months later, she was able to raise small money from the street hawking. She sent money to her siblings, promising them that she will send more on the weekend. Months later, the billionaire Mr. Jonathan faces a critical health crisis, requiring a rare blood type match. His extensive network yields no immediate donors, and time is running out. On that fateful day, Sarah was hawking her water. When she passed through the hospital gate, someone called her to come sell water to them. When she went in, as they were buying the water, they were discussing pain about Mr. Jonathan's health, that if they don't see someone with the matching blood, he will die before tomorrow. After selling water to them, she started going. But that word, "If we don't see someone with the matching blood, he will die before tomorrow," kept ringing in her mind. Then she went back to them. "Sir, I overheard you talking about a patient that may die tomorrow if a matching blood is not found." "Yes, he needs blood." And the doctor had run tests through all his relatives, but no one has the matching blood, and the hospital has no blood in their bank. "I want to help. We should go inside. Let the doctor test mine to see if I could save him." "Are you sure of this?" the man asked in curiosity. "Yes, sir, I'm sure." They went in, and after the test, the blood was the same, and the doctor started the transfusion. 1 hour, 30 minutes later, the process was completed. She was sitting and resting in the hospital hallway, when all of a sudden, Mrs. Jonathan arrived. After 2 months of searching for Sarah, she finally found her. She was so much surprised and happy to see her. "How are you?" she asked. "I am fine." "Good afternoon. What are you doing here?" "I came to sell water to customers. I was just resting." "Okay, don't go. Wait for me here. I will be back. I'm here to see my husband." She went into the ward and saw her husband smiling. He asked, "Where is the girl that donated the blood?" The doctor called Sarah in, and Mrs. Jonathan was frozen. "You?" Her husband was surprised. "Honey, do you know her? She is the same girl we've been looking for. The girl that gave me and Junior food." As she shed tears, Mr. Jonathan asked her to come closer. She came, and he asked her, "What is your name?" "My name is Sarah." "Sarah, I am Chief Jonathan, the CEO of Jonathan Ibe Industries. You saved my wife and my son, and here again, you saved my life. Because of this, I am going to change your life, the way you could never imagine." They all drove home to the family house of Mr. Jonathan. When they arrived, she was astonished with what she saw. A big mansion and many servants walking around. She stepped down, and Mrs. Jonathan walked her inside and asked the servants to show her her room and serve her anything she wants. That night, She knelt down and prayed to God. "Father, I thank you for another opportunity again." The next day, Mr. Jonathan and his wife called her into the living room and asked where she was from. She narrated everything to them, from losing her parents and dropping out of school to coming to the city. They were surprised that even after all this, she still had the heart to help someone she didn't know. They promised her that her life and that of her siblings will never remain the same again, that she will go to the village to bring her siblings to come and finish their education in the city. The next day, she was taken to the village by Jonathan's driver to pick her siblings. When they arrived, he enrolled them into the best school in the city and made Sarah senior manager in one of his oil companies. And she rose from grass to grace, fulfilling the promise she made to her late mother that she will take care of her siblings. Mr. Jonathan, profoundly impacted, uses his resources to create a foundation focused on empowering the homeless and recognizing everyday heroes. The homeless girl's story becomes a global inspiration, highlighting the power of empathy and seemingly small gestures. Thanks for watching.